We believe the price of Bitcoin will scale. I think our bull case is $1.5 million. Let's go. As we move toward the system that you are talking about, Art, and already we are seeing the volatility is coming down. When it was $6 billion in network value or market cap, the volatility was like unbelievable.
Bitcoin Zella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zella today and enjoy the new edge. Cathie Wood and famed economist Dr. Art Laffer at the Bitcoin conference in Nashville, Tennessee. They covered all things Bitcoin, ranging from why each grew interested in Bitcoin to what they see for the Bitcoin space in the future.
But we're seeing the volatility come down, and the world you're talking about is how far out do you think? We think that price target is a 2030 price target. And how will the conversation change? Because, I know that one thing the core developers will not do is change that 21 million units. So can you talk around that?
What you have to do is you have to get governments to decide that they need to have Bitcoin as the currency of the realm. That's what your acceptance of Bitcoin, and political acceptance especially. Once you get the political acceptance of Bitcoin, you get the transactions in Bitcoin. I don't know how they're going to define it or such, but then you're going to get financial institutions coming in where they'll use Bitcoins as their reserves. They'll create their own liabilities in the system. And you get a fractional reserve system that'll be run by private sector things, just the way it was with the Bank of England for a couple of centuries there. I mean, you had the Bank of England would sit there and stabilize the value of the British pound in terms of gold. First step has to really be getting governmental acceptance of Bitcoin because of private acceptance. If everyone's transacting in Bitcoin, believe me, the government will start using Bitcoin, and that'll happen. And then you have to have a price rule, even within a fixed quantity. You'll have a price rule. Now, the way Britain did it was with very small reserves. They did not have large reserves of gold. What they did was they just did that 3 meetings a day, stabilizing with buying and selling gold in pounds to just keep the price very stable. I think they allowed a 1% band around the price to be transactional, and then they would exceed if it got above 1% or below 1% there, and they kept the values stable for long periods of time. That's what needs to be done to really guarantee the value of Bitcoin at some future price.
Bitcoin starts a new week fighting to preserve key support as markets prepare for a deluge of macroeconomic volatility triggers. BTC holds $54,000 at the weekly close, giving traders modest confidence over how short-term BTC price action may shape up. CPI and PPI lead a key week of U.S. macro data prints, these coming less than 10 days before the Fed interest rates decision. Crypto funds shed $600 million over the past week, with spot Bitcoin ETF also seeing steady net outflows. BTC price performance is looking eerily similar to 2019, according to a fractal which has remained valid throughout this year. Bulls are eyeing the odds of a 20% bounce as BTC continues a sloping channel in place since March's all-time high. If price can stay above $54.5 thousand, I'm looking for a break above this green zone to see if Bitcoin can regain some upward momentum. Popular analyst Caleb Franzen commented in one of his latest posts on X alongside a chart. $52,500 must hold for continuation in the short term. Popular trader Crypto Tony, meanwhile, concluded about support levels. Interesting few weeks ahead. Bitcoin is in a halving year, so it makes most sense to compare 2024 with previous halving years. Popular trader and analyst Rect Capital argued while discussing the performance numbers. In the previous halving years, 2016 and 2020, Bitcoin enjoyed 3 straight months of upside across October, November, and December.
Yeah, I think Larry Fink's conversion was very important. That was a moment. Remember, he was denigrating Bitcoin for years, very focused on the environmental side of it. But how is it perceived? Well, the first thing that happened was Grayscale, because it kept its fee at 2%, donated a lot of share to all of us, right? I mean,
why was that? That just doesn't make any sense.
Well,
why
let's
they
just
kept
put it this way. We think it was a miscalculation. And the CEO, who I've known him for a very long time, he quit. I think, and now they're putting, if you look at what they did with Ether, they've introduced not only the conversion into the Grayscale trust into an Ethereum ETF, but also an Ether Mini for 10% of it. So the cost there is 15 basis points. I think I don't know if they're keeping it at the rest at 2%. I don't know. I don't understand the strategy. But first donated a lot of share. And grew the market in terms of, beyond what Grayscale offered. So the education of 11 ETF providers vying for business at the same time, the education around that was tremendous. And you had most of the major asset management institutions involved, whereas, when we were in our early days, they thought we were using a marketing gimmick, or there was, always a reason not to consider what we believed was a new asset class. So first, donation of share to lots of other players, all of whom have educated. But the most interesting thing is it really has not hit yet, because the big platform, we call them wirehouses. So Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, LPL would be an independent one, UBS. None has approved them for the platform. And everybody...
Is that the 6-month mark I keep hearing that they needed some?
I don't know. Yes, that we were told by the most progressive of all of them, we need 3 to 6 months. Okay, so now we're 6 months in. And I'm sure at one point, price hit 70. They thought, we can't put, this is very volatile. We can't put our clients in this. We'll wait for a correction. The correction was much more shallow than they expected. There was one immediately after launch, but no one jumped on the recent one, which is interesting. So I think they're still trying to get their arms around it. They probably have to hire analysts to support them, because otherwise it's on the management team's backs. This is their risk. So I think they'll have to get a little bit of an infrastructure going, and we're starting to see that. We're also starting to see some demand pull from clients, which is good. That will get top management to make the investments in the research team to make this happen. So it's a slow process, but, despite what seems to be a wonderful success, it hasn't even begun.
The past week has not been kind to crypto institutional investment products as capital flees the sector. In a particularly bearish market appraisal, Bank of America revealed the worst slew of crypto fund outflows since the 2022 bear market. At around $600 million last week alone, this, Kobayashi notes, thus represents the second largest such outflow in the history of the industry. Over the last several weeks, crypto funds have regularly seen outflows, unlike in Q1 when weekly inflows were as much as $3.3 billion, part of an ex-post reported. Risk appetite in crypto seems to have disappeared despite expectations that the Fed will cut rates this month. The picture is similarly grim for the U.S. spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds, ETF, which recorded net outflows every day last week. Data from UK-based investment firm Farsight Investors reveals that 2 out of the 4 trading days recorded net outflows above $200 million. Bitcoin is down 15% over the last 2 weeks, and is trading 25% below its all-time high, Kobayashi concluded. Are crypto markets entering a bear market? And do not forget to subscribe to Bitcoin Seller. The most important news will reach your inbox on a daily basis and for free. I do not know why you have not subscribed yet. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more daily updates. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to empower you on your financial journey. Until next time, happy investing.